Hello everyone and welcome to another ReplayRetro short, where today we're going to be taking a look at this little gadget here. This is it's either known as the PC Engine TV tuner or the TurboGrafx TurboVision, depending on which system you're using it with. I'll be using it, of course, here, as you can see, with the TurboExpress, which is the handheld version of the US TurboGrafx 16. And it's also exactly the same as the PC Engine GT, which is the handheld version of the PC Engine in Japan. So as you can already assume, this little device here allows you to turn your handheld system into a portable TV in much the same way that Sega's Game Gear had its own TV tuner. It's quite a neat little unit. You can see here you've got a connector on the side for connecting it and a nice bolt for attaching it to the console permanently. You've also got this hook that helps it hook in, and as you would expect from a portable TV device of the era, an incredibly long aerial. That is a really long aerial. However, I think it's a much nicer quality aerial than the Game Gear tuner. It does feel sturdier and stronger. Maybe this unit's just in better condition, I don't know. You have the ability to change some settings on the side here. You have the tint, the colour, the ability of course to turn the unit on or off, meaning that you could keep it attached to the console and still play your games, unlike the Game Gear TV tuner where you had to remove the tuner in order to put a game in, although why you'd want to leave this bulky unit on if you're not using it, I don't really know. You can switch between VHF and UHF inputs. You can of course tune it using the dial here. I believe they did do an auto-tuning version as well, actually, like a digital tuner. Not for digital signals, of course, just to make tuning it easier. There's the input here for an external aerial, if you want to put a better aerial in. And there's also an input for an AV device. You need a specialist cable for that, which I do have, so we'll take a look at that in a moment. On the front, you see the tuning information. So you've got the UHF bands there and the VHF there to give you a rough idea of where you can expect to find channels. And on the back, the usual labels that you would expect to find on a product. To attach it to the system itself, which has turned itself off apparently, which is probably a good idea, you simply insert it through this hook point, push it into the connector and turn the screw until that's nice and tight so it can't be pushed out. We'll sit that back in this stand here so it's easier to take a look at. If it wants to sit, that is. Which of course it doesn't, because that's what happens when you're filming. Come on. Just realised when this is on the shelf it is actually propped up next to the game com. So what we'll do is we'll hold it for the video. Away with you, stand! So, I'm going to actually use this little portable speaker here to make it so that you've got a chance of hearing it, because the system is quite quiet. I believe the capacitors are on its way out. So if I plug that in, you've got a chance of actually hearing anything that we do pick up. Of course, this doesn't pick up digital terrestrial signals. It only picks up the old school analog signals. So when I switch it on, it's probably not going to be able to find very much, maybe just a few radio signals, because in the UK, like large amounts of the world now, the analog signal has been switched off and there is only digital TV signals. But we'll have a look anyway. So let's switch it on. Oh, there you go. We're picking up messages from beyond our own realm. Let's just start the tuning from the top. See if we pick anything up. Looks like we're definitely picking up some radio signals. An advert, maybe? Alien communications about the invasion of Earth. Oh, that nearly looked like a video signal. Just a lot of snow, really. No, doesn't look like there's any signals on the VHF band. Let's quickly switch to UHF and try again. No, nothing at all on UHF. But as you can hear, there are some signals hidden away there on the VHF band. I don't want to sit on one for too long for fear of a copyright strike. But one thing we will take a look at now, let's just turn it off for a second. We'll take a look at the AV connection. Now how that connection works is you have a cable that looks roughly, it's your average 3.5mm cable, only instead of having mono or stereo, you'll see that there are 3 channels there, and that simply plugs into the side here. There we go. Now when I turn it back on, it should go straight to AV mode. Yep. And I've actually hooked this up to a 3DO because it was the first thing I had at hand. So when I switch on the 3DO, hopefully we will see the 3DO title screen pop up on here. Yes, can you see that? Well, you could if the 3DO started doing something. There you go. It's quite difficult to catch the light properly. But you can see it actually is a very good quality screen. There you go, telling us to insert a disc in the 3DO. And NEC TurboExpress telling us to insert the CD into our 3DO. It's an odd image. Don't know why anyone would play their 3DO hooked up through a handheld device. But hey, if you want to, you can. I did try hooking it up to a DVD player earlier on, but I'm assuming it wasn't overly happy with the signal. Maybe that's a regional thing. You can see the screen is perfectly competent. I haven't actually done a review of this handheld itself yet. I will probably get around to that soon. There you go. Okay guys, so that is the TurboVision or PC Engine TV tuner for the TurboExpress or the PC Engine GT, depending on which you have. As I say, it doesn't work with modern signals, so it's not really something that is all that useful these days. But it is a cool little thing to have in your collection, especially if you can pick it up nice and cheap like I did. Okay guys, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more.